Build creative confidence. Beat the inspiration addiction. Join the Writer's Gym. Have you found that your writing takes place in a certain world? I found that a lot of my stories do. That there is something about them that is linked, even when the stories aren't linked. And some of my favourite authors have done that. So Maggie O'Farrell's first novels, and I'm not going to give any spoilers to this if you haven't read them already, have the characters hear things about a previous novel in a subsequent novel. The stories aren't really anything to do with each other, but it's just this lovely reminder that all of our lives are linked. I was thinking about that today because one of this year's Green Ink sponsored writers, Nick Lamont, who is a comedian and actor and writer that I've admired for such a long time, and I'm really happy to collaborate with her on many projects now. She said, the first 2 Green Ink sponsored write stories I wrote felt they could be from a similar world. So last year for Pleasant Lands, which was the third one she did, I knew I wanted to write a guide to that place. So last year for Pleasant Lands, I knew I wanted to write a guide to that place. I put references to my first 2 stories into the third. When I sit down to write for this every year, maybe I'm going into that same fictional land. I love hearing about that because there are deeper truths than the literal. There are stories we are carrying with us that have been growing within us based on all the things we've read, watched, seen, people we've talked to, and they grow the whole time. And that curiosity of building your fictional world can be such a good way of getting away from the idea that, is this right? Will everyone approve of it? Because there is no right. And even if it was the best version of itself, it's still not going to be for everybody. What we're doing as writers is we're getting our truth. We're getting a sense of what we are curious about, and we're exploring that as show, don't tell, i.e. action, people exploring themselves and the world. So I really hope that whatever world you are finding your way into, you give yourself permission to keep returning there. Maybe we're always going to be asking slightly similar questions. Maybe there's always a certain colour palette that we have as writers that we'll keep returning to. And every time we build that curiosity, we're building that world. Even if it's a different world nominally to the last one, everything gets clearer and bigger and deeper. If you'd like to see what comes out of this year's sponsored write, the place to visit is justgiving.com/page/somewhere-that's-green. This year's title was chosen by Rhianna Pratchett, and as ever, everything you put on that sponsorship page is going to Macmillan Cancer Support. So not only are you making the world that little bit better by putting art into it, you are also supporting life. You've visited the Writer's Gym with author and coach Dr. Rachel Knightley. Production and sound design are by Ashley Lexine, and theme music is by Chris Gregory. To join a Writer's Gym workout online or in London, as a guest or as a member, visit writersgym.com or email thewritersgym@rachelknightley.com.